What's going on, everybody? Skilly's LBT with a brand new video on a topic that I just heard come up yesterday, I believe, when I was playing. And I just want to confirm that what I'm about to talk about, I have no confirmed sources on this or anything like that. I have no links. It's just something that I heard, but seeing as it's something that should actually happen, I would not be surprised if it comes to pass. And honestly, it's something that I am excited about. So, without stalling, without further ado, just the little rumor I heard yesterday was in regards to the Sonya character, and as you can see right here, before I actually end up in the lobby, right now she's currently labeled as a melee warrior, and for people who aren't familiar, basically in Heroes of the Storm, any character that has that warrior label, whether it's openly acknowledged or not, is expected to be a tank. Like, there's no other way to put it. Every single character class has a symbol of some kind that represents what they're for, and all warriors have a shield as an icon, and not every warrior in this game is a good tank or even a tank at all. And Sonya is one of the biggest characters that fits this bill. I would actually say that Tyrael might be another one who's kind of not really all that much of a tank. Some people would even argue that Arthas isn't much of a tank. But for sure, one thing everybody agrees on is that Sonya is not a tank. But the thing that she lacks in tanking, if you've seen my build videos, you know this by now. Or if you play the game, you know this by now. But what she doesn't really have going for her as a tank, she makes up for in, a ginormous way in damage. And the rumor going out there that I heard yesterday, like I said, that I could actually see kind of happening, because I've heard this rumor with other characters too, is that Blizzard might be entertaining changing her classification, basically. Meaning she may no longer be listed as a warrior. Now, for one, I actually do think this is something that's possible because Blizzard has already made changes of those kinds with other characters, with like in particular with the difficulty ratings. They've already made changes to certain characters to better reflect like what those characters' difficulties actually are. So, like, to give you an example, some characters might have been listed as easy when they really weren't that easy to use, so they changed them to medium, or so on and so forth. Things along those lines. And as I mentioned earlier, Sonya is not really much of a tank. I mean, you can attempt to make her one, but it's really not the ideal way to go with this character. And the thing that has me excited is that if they do actually come to change her classification, I really don't see how they could not make her an assassin, because I've been saying it for the longest that with the proper build, and especially with a user who knows what they're doing, Sonya is definitely on par with damn near any assassin in this game. She has all the characteristics, really, of an assassin. I mean, for a tank, don't get me wrong, for a warrior, she is a bit squishy, but as an assassin, she'd be actually, dare I say, a little tanky. But her damage is ridiculous, and it's something that I'm not saying that if they change it, it's 100% that they're gonna change her into an assassin, because like I said at the start of the video, I don't have any sources, any links. Do not ask me. I just heard the rumor, and it's something that actually seems feasible. Like, it might actually happen, so I figured I'd do a video about it because I wanted to talk about it. Because honestly, the prospects of her changing classifications excites me. Because I can't even begin to tell you how many times I go into Hero League, I make my choice depending on like what the team situation is. Like, if I take too long to ready up and pick a hero, show people who I want to use, I generally fill. Like, whatever we need is where I go. But if I'm fast to show like what I want to do, I'm gonna go Sonya first because she's my best character, and she fills a role of having a melee character with a high DPS rate. So ordinarily, when people see this in Hero League, they give me shit for this because she's classified as a warrior, but she doesn't have any kind of real tankiness about her. And you do need somebody to be the frontline character more often than not to soak the damage. And Sonya is really not one that excels at that. She excels at at getting into fights and basically putting a high amount of damage on characters, which in turn is exactly what assassins are for. So I just think if they're gonna change her to anything, why not change her to what she's already kind of been playing as anyway? At least with good players, how good players have been using her and stuff like that. Which honestly, I don't think there's very many. I think the players are the problem with Sonya. I don't think the Sonya character itself is the issue. But moving along. So yeah, that's just half of it too, because this is the other half that kind of I'm like a little lukewarm on this, but at the same time I'm excited. It's because if they let's say they do change, and by the way, I'm not shut off to the idea of them possibly changing her into a specialist because she has characteristics of maybe like 2 classes instead of 1. But I don't think I don't think that would actually be a good way to go. Let's say they do, for sake of argument, change her into an assassin. Does that mean that they leave her moveset and her build options, alone? Do they keep them exactly the same, or do they change them to better reflect, an assassin player? Because the thing you gotta realize when you look at the talent builds and things of that nature, some of the talents are specifically tailor made for specific classes. Like you'd be hard pressed, man. I'm not gonna say there's not one because somebody like Kerrigan comes to mind. I'm not sure if she has one, but I wouldn't be surprised. But you'd be hard pressed to find, like, say, an assassin that has options from top to bottom to be a tank. Sure, they might have, like, Vala has a shield ability that she can unlock or whatever. I honestly wouldn't advise using it, but she has one. That's the point. But assassins generally have things that are pointing towards their damage. Tanks have stuff pointed towards their defense, like their talents, like their specific class-based talents that are there in place for every class of characters. Like the biggest one that kind of comes to mind is Seasoned Marksman. You can find that on a number of heroes that fit the assassin build, and maybe like 1 or 2 that fit the support build instead. But if they were to change Sonya to an assassin, would they entertain bringing something like Seasoned Marksman over to her character to replace, like, some of her Fury abilities? I don't know. I could see upsides to it. I could see downsides to it. But I used to jokingly think to myself sometimes, like, man, with how crazy Seasoned Marksman is as a talent, how nuts would that be on this character who excels at laning? Especially with the sustain she has. Like, it would be insane. It's like it would be unfair if they did have it, so I'm glad they don't. But it would be like having Seasoned Marksman on a Sylvanas character. That would be, like, nuts with how easy she pushes lanes and, like, how fast she kills everything. If you added Seasoned Marksman on a character like that, it would be insane. So I could also see them not doing anything. And for the record, I just want to make it clear, I hope they don't tamper with Sonya's moveset or her talent or anything. I hope they don't tamper with it because I'm perfectly fine with what she has now. And like I said, as a warrior, she's a bit squishy. But if she's an assassin, she's a little bit tanky. She takes a little bit longer than you expect a typical assassin to die, Add in her sustain abilities and, you get the message. But honestly, I don't know if this is actually going to come to pass. Like I said, I just wouldn't be surprised if it is the case. Again, I don't have any sources for this. I can't confirm this. It's just something I heard, and it's something that would not surprise me if it came to pass. And honestly, it's something that excites me. If it does happen, it would be awesome in my opinion. And, like, not to mention, if they do change her classification, I wouldn't get people, challenging me and questioning what I do. Like when I go into Hero League, I consistently get people challenging my pick, which is funny because then we get into games and I end up outplaying these people. I don't know why I just did that. That was stupid. I thought I had a teammate right there, to be honest. I don't know what I just saw, but I thought I had a teammate. But you know, I honestly would just be happy if they make the change. There's a number of reasons why I would be happy. For sure, I'd be happy because it'd be less of a headache going into Hero League. People see you making that pick, and they're like, "Oh, we need a tank," and then they see you pick her. There wouldn't be any more of that, you know. Like they see me picking her, somebody else will automatically, you know, think to pick a tank. And the thing about Sonya's character with Hero League, she is already like pretty serious on the damage front. But when you have her combined with an actual tank, somebody that could actually soak damage, it is ridiculous how much more like of a factor she is. This is actually going to be bad. I don't know if I can get away from this. Well, luckily she went the other way. But, you know, pairing Sonya with an actual tank brings serious results. And it's something that a lot of Hero League players that I've played so far, it's something that they're really not up on. But if they change Sonya, if they just change her classification but keep all of her abilities intact, you could still technically run that dual tank setup with her in a real tank. You know, even though she wouldn't be a tank anymore, so it wouldn't really be a dual tank setup, but you get what I'm trying to say. So, honestly, them changing her classifications, I think, is just all positives. I don't really see any downsides to it. The only possible downsides would be if they decided to rework her talents to better reflect an assassin, which would be interesting. Like, what kind of route would they go with that, you know? Like, what general talents would they add to her to make her more of an assassin? I really hope that's not what I think it is. But yeah, I guess it remains to be seen. Finally, fucking level 10. But yeah, I'm like distracted. Yeah, generally that's basically the biggest thing. Like the biggest thing that I wanted to get out of the way with this video, the prospects of them changing her classification. I just think it would be crazy, like if they did it, and if they did it, would they want to change her build? Again, I'm along the lines that I say don't change it, keep her exactly the way she is. At the most, if you want to add some extras in there, if you want to add like 1 or 2 extra talents in there to replace some talents, like I would say go, like I don't really think hot slogs, because I know a lot of people swear by it. I don't think hot slogs is a be-all end-all sign of how things work. But in this case, you could go on hot slogs and see what the least picked talents are on some of these characters. Find out what nobody's using and replace them with stuff that's, you know, more relevant to, you know, the classes she may be changed to. Again, I'm assuming if it does happen, it's going to be an assassin. I'm not saying that that's what it's going to be. That's just my guess. Like, if they were going to change it, she fits that build really well. Like, I feel like she's like a hybrid, if anything, you know? So, would they change it? Would they not? I hope they don't. But if they do, I'd be interested to see it. Maybe I'd even have to redo some build videos to kind of compensate, you know, rework my builds around again like I did before in the first place. Who knows? But I just think it would be sweet. I hope it does happen. I really do. Again, just in case you didn't hear me the first 2 times, I do not have any sources to confirm this or anything like that. It's just a rumor I heard that could have some legs behind it. So, on that note, I am very, very excited. In case it does happen, I would be so fucking psyched. This might be a problem here. I don't know. Alright, it looks like we're alright. And yes, I don't use control to pick my abilities. I know. I suck on a keyboard, in case that wasn't evident. I mentioned it in the first PC video upload I made on this channel. But yeah. The other thing, now that I got the Sonya thing out of the way, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna have any time to get into it. But the other thing I'm like really excited, even though there's no release date. See, this is not a rumor. This is actually happening, and everybody already knows it. It's just I want to comment on it. But I'm really really excited for the addition of the monk. And, well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm just a really big fan of the Diablo characters from Diablo 3. I love that they have, like, you know, iterations of them in this game. I think it's fucking sweet. And, you know, going down the line, seeing all the characters they had, this could be a problem. This could be a tremendous problem. And I'm dead. Really not playing all that well in this one. Well, actually, this is not totally on me. I only have 2 deaths, and we have 11 kills. There is no fucking talent on my team right now. These guys have 25 already. Nobody's getting kills. I take that back. Whatchamacallit, yeah, getting back to the monk. I am, like, extremely excited about the addition. They haven't given a release date. At most, there was a bunch of articles on June 17th, you know, just announcing him and like, giving very, very minor details. One of which I think is insane, that he's going to be the only character in the game that's able to actually pick his trait at the start of the match, which is fucking nuts. Because essentially, that means you can, like, completely build him 2 separate ways, depending on anything. And if anybody who's played Diablo 3, which I'm sure a lot of people, if you're watching this video, I'm sure you did play Diablo 3. But anybody who's played Diablo 3 knows that the monk wasn't just like a hand-to-hand combatant. He was a healer, you know, like he was a support player. And they already have him listed as a melee support, which I'm not surprised about. But the thing that's kind of encouraging, that I think is awesome, is this 2 trait thing effectively means that he can be built. And again, like, they haven't released any talent list or anything like that, but you get the general idea of what they're going for with this idea. Oh, fuck. I didn't even notice that guy died. Yeah, these are some questionable teammates I have here in this game. And that was a really questionable move by Fala. I don't know what she was thinking. I'm going to back up here. But yeah, essentially, melee support, he can heal, he can fight, he can do damage. You're thinking, if he can pick 2 traits at the start of a game, one of the traits has to be built with healing in mind, like to be an actual support, and then the other one has to be with damage in mind, you know? Fucking, you gotta think that he's gonna be the one or the other, that they're gonna make it hard for him to be both, because then that would make him a little too OP to deal with, you know? I had no fucking fury right there to do anything. This is a really bad team I'm on right now. Like, I'm almost upset that I'm, like, going over all of this, like, now in this kind of game. But as I've mentioned before, I don't let winning and losing dictate, like, what kind of videos I upload. I just know. I know what this is. You come across this in quick match where sometimes you just come across players that honestly don't really know how to work together. They don't know what they're doing, or they're experimenting with things, or they just don't care to try and play all that well. So you get situations like these. It does happen. So, getting back to the monk, I'm just really, really excited for the new character. It's gonna blow because I'm definitely not gonna be able to play and use him anytime soon. Like, I refuse. I don't mind buying skins for characters that I enjoy playing as, but I don't really like the idea of spending money to unlock the characters, because, like, who's to say you don't spend money on a character you ultimately don't like? Like, with a skin, you're already, like, you already know what kind of character you're using. You know if you're a fan, and if you buy the skin, you want something that kind of is a little unique, you know? You want people to see, like, hey, this is my character and whatnot. So, and it also shows, like, a slight, I'm sorry about the chat, by the way, but this guy's pissing me the fuck off. It also shows that you're a fan of the character, too. There's, like, a number of reasons to get a skin. You want them to look different. You don't want them to look, like, generic, like you're just using them just to use them. So, for me, that makes things different. But spending money to buy a character could end up being a really bad move if you don't enjoy the character, if you don't play the character. And I've only bought skins for characters that I know for a fact I'm gonna keep using. Like, there's no question about that whatsoever. Like, I'm not gonna stop using them. Like, I've only spent money on skins for Raynor, Vala, and Kerrigan. And Kerrigan's actually kind of fallen to the wayside ever since I started Hero League, and that's unfortunate. But I did highly enjoy the character. I love the character and whatnot, and I thought the skin was cool. Hold on. And we're gonna mute you because you're getting annoying. But yeah. So, getting back on track because I'm getting like sidetracked by this douchebag spam in the chat. I'm sorry about that. I'm not gonna be able to play the character anytime soon because for one, I'm not gonna buy him. Two, 15,000 gold. 15,000 gold. People that wanted to play the Butcher know all about this. People that wanted to play Johanna when the game first came out, when she first came out, know all about that. Like, they have this thing where they'll overcharge. And don't get me wrong, it's fucking brilliant. I think it's a genius idea, but it's just not something that helps for people like me that grind the game to unlock characters. So 15,000 gold is a ginormous price tag, and I'm not sure exactly how. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not sure exactly how long they stay at 15,000, but even after they lower the price tag, you gotta assume that there's still gonna be 10,000, which is still a lot. I'm working towards getting another 10,000 as it is. I finally got a 10K hero. I was gonna make a video about it, but I haven't. I bought Johanna. I absolutely love the character. She's a lot of fun to use, but 15,000 is a lot, so it's gonna be a long time before I'm actually able to use that character, unless I just fucking grind the hell out of this game. I pass on another 10K hero and just try to go for 15, because they haven't announced the release date yet. So it's like I do have time. We just know that the characters are coming soon. We don't know exactly when, so you never know. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. You enjoyed us getting our asses whooped, and enjoyed the prospects of potentially, again, this will be the 4th time I say it, or the 5th. I don't really know. There are no links, no sources, but there is potential that Sonya can be changed from being a warrior to something else. My guess, if I had to put one, would be an assassin, because that is, I mean, just to kind of like make my point. Where's she at? Just kind of make my point. I have a shit ton of kills with this character. Mind you, I started playing this game on May 29th. May 29th, and today's date is July 11th as of this recording. So, yeah. I played 521 games. And with Sonya alone, I have almost 4,000 kills. That is not something that you find typically associated with a warrior. That is all assassin, if I've ever seen it. So I guess we'll see for sure what happens. Again, hopefully you enjoyed the video. A lot more to come. There'll be more build videos on the way. I'm just like lining up which characters I want to work on, and I'll just go from there. I've been doing some recent like fine tuning with Vala, so don't be surprised if that's the next one to come up. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate the recent support in the comments, by the way. I thought that was awesome, seeing that some people were trying the builds to success. I love seeing that. Thank you for supporting. And as always, this is Achilles, LBT. That's Achilles with the Z. Remember it.